folks. Today is Saturday. It is the day before New Year's Eve. Not a whole lot going on. We're just going to go out and run some errands. Need to get a haircut. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to take the 250 out for a spin. As you can probably hear in the background, it's being very noisy right now. Also very smoky. It's also, I don't know if you can hear that, but that is the tensioner pulley, making a little bit of squeak. It tends to quiet down once you run it for a little bit, but that's going to be on the list of things that we need to replace. She's smoking good. So we are just going to kind of get rolling today. Maybe later today, if you can notice, the 4Runner is still here. We discovered that and I think I mentioned in a previous video, that one of the freeze plugs was leaking. My buddy elected not to go with a pro shop because it's a lot of money, and he's not really in a hurry to get it back. So we're going to try to get that in the shop today, and just go ahead and just knock it out and just make it go away. So hopefully we'll be able to do that later today. We got to get some stuff out of the garage first to fit it in there. So we'll check in with you in a bit. I think most of you know this, but it bears mentioning. At least if you drive a diesel truck, you might know this. When you're putting diesel in one of these, try to go to a truck stop, or like a big station that is flowing through a lot of diesel. Diesel is very susceptible to like getting water in it and settling out, getting sediment in the tank. So one of these smaller stations that, like a little mom and pop gas station that doesn't fill their diesel tank up once every month or two, that's old diesel. You don't want that old crappy diesel in your tank. So a truck stop, however, is getting through the diesel. That tank has to be filled up constantly because big trucks are coming in there and snagging 300 gallons of pop. So try to go to a truck stop. You're gonna at least have the best chance of getting some good clean fuel that way. And we are actually going a different way after the gym. I've got a couple of truck stops sort of like within striking distance of the house that I like to go fill up at. We're going into downtown Atlanta after this, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to get on the map and find a decent place. But it's for the goodness of your truck, the longevity of your engine, it's worth a couple of minutes, to go and get some decent fuel somewhere. And usually the prices are better too. So it's worth your while in more ways than one. So, all right. So every time I fill this tank up, I put probably too much of this stuff in. You're supposed to, like, one of these is supposed to do like 30 gallons or something like that. But I probably put 1.5 of these. It's kind of smooth the idle out a little bit. It certainly ain't gonna hurt anything, and it's not very expensive either. I think I got a whole case of this stuff for like 60-80 bucks. I can't remember, but it wasn't very expensive. So whenever I'm about to fill this tank up, I always just throw some of this in there before, and that way it gets all nice and mixed up. So I don't know if you can see there, XDP Diesel Power Plus. It's not a paid endorsement. Alright, so now that we're back home, we're going to do a little bit of shuffling around. We got some room cleared out in the garage, so we are finally going to get the 4Runner back inside where it should be, and see if we can knock that freeze plug out. But have to do a little juggling with the cars first, so let's go ahead and knock that out. Of course, we are also going to have to jump the 4Runner because that battery is completely dead. So bear with me. So hopefully you guys can see everything pretty good here. So we have to get at a freeze plug. It's on this side of the block. So what I'm hoping is that we can just like pull this manifold like and kind of drop it to the side, and then that we can get at the freeze plug. I'm really do not want to take this manifold off of the exhaust collector right there. Because every time I've ever done that on another vehicle, especially one this old, you snap studs, and I mean that's another gasket to replace, so it's just going to be a huge mess. So I'm hoping this works. Hopefully I can just wiggle the exhaust down out of the way. But we're going to start by popping this shield off and then trying to slide the exhaust manifold itself out of the way. Exhaust pop loose. Oh, it's probably not going to want to move. It's nice and warm. Man, this thing's hot. There it goes. And I don't know if we're going to have enough room. Unfortunately, damn steering box is in the way. Here, kind of where we've got the light on it. That's where we need to be. Unfortunately, it's down beyond all of that. So that's the freeze plug that's got to come out. So we might have to regroup and think about how we're going to do this. So this might wrap us up for the day, because man, that thing looks like it is really rusted in there good. Alright, so a little update. We did force this thing out. It wasn't pretty. We just kind of got a like a long socket extension in there and tapped it with a hammer, and out she came. You can tell there was a little pinhole there where it rusted through. So you can kind of see there's the indentation where I was tapping it, but look at the back side of this thing, man. I mean, this is just, golly. That's some serious rust. So the inside of this block is gross. Really not a whole lot to do for it. I mean, I knew it was gross when I did all the other stuff to it, but you know, it is what it is. We'll fix this one. You know, we're going to throw a new brass freeze plug in. Brass, because obviously brass doesn't rust. There's another one towards the back that looks a little ugly that we may try to do, just for continuity's sake.
The one in the middle actually looks fine for whatever reason. This is you can see it says it right here. I don't know if you can see that. It says Dorman. So this is not an OEM freeze plug, I don't think. So they've been replaced at least once in this car's life. So we're going to tap the new brass one in here and then try, man, I don't know. That one's going to be much more difficult to get at, that one back there, but we'll see. So here we have the nice new brass freeze plug, one of 6. We got a set of 6 because you just really can't buy individual ones. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit of Hylamar, I don't know if you can see that, Hylamar around the edge of it to kind of seal it up. Hylamar is aerospace grade gasket sealer. It does not dry out. It stays, there's actually a little bit of it on there. You can see it's still tacky. So this stuff is like 35 bucks a tube. That's hard to find, but it is. I've used it in various applications where I thought it was a sketchy seal, and it's never leaked. So this is kind of good for what ails you, because it stays flexible and it will continuously seal. So that's what we're gonna go with, and then it's gonna be tough to swing a hammer down there. But what we're gonna have to do is use a socket as a drift to apply uniform pressure and tap it into place. So we'll check in with you guys in a minute.